Season 2006, the defending champions will feature a sturdy defense, and to face that defense, Dante Culpepper, the newest Miami Dolphins quarterback for Nick Saban and company. The Dolphins and the Steelers are coming up. Saban and the Miami Dolphins begin the season against Charlie Batch and the Steelers. The absence of Big Ben Roethlisberger and new additions Dante Culpepper and Ronnie Brown. Will the recent Super Bowl champs overcome the Dolphins and their defense? That's the question to be answered tonight on ESPN. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, home of the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Pittsburg Steelers, and the spotlights are on Heinz Field for the Miami Dolphins and the Pittsburg Steelers as the NFL kicks off the 2006 season on a Thursday night here on ESPN. You couldn't ask for a better night weather-wise, a perfect fall evening in Pennsylvania. But it is all not perfect for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger undergoing an appendectomy and will miss this game, and who knows, maybe more for the Steelers. They will have to depend on the 9-year veteran Charlie Batch out of Eastern Michigan, 31 years old, an experienced quarterback who did start and win 2 games last year for the Steelers en route to their Super Bowl championship. And Batch will be throwing to people like Hines Ward, and he will be handing the ball off to an excellent running game. But Batch has to play cool and collected, and Batch must make plays here and there against a very tough Miami Dolphins team. A 9-year veteran who has been around, has bounced around throughout this NFL over the course of almost a decade. Charlie Batch, with Ben Roethlisberger out, gets the start, and his career numbers not all that impressive. 50 touchdowns, 41 interceptions, and a QB rating of just under 77. He's thrown for over 9,300 yards in his NFL career. Meanwhile, on the other sideline and under center, Dante Culpepper, one of the new quarterbacks and the new members of the Miami Dolphins. Culpepper, who spent many years with the Minnesota Vikings, suffered a devastating knee injury last year in a game against New England and had to leave the game. Culpepper, a question mark, brought to Miami, playing for Nick Saban, and the big man, a 3-time Pro Bowler, has looked sharp in preseason. He brings a presence, he brings size and strength to the quarterback position for the Dolphins, who finished 9-7 last year with Gus Frerotte quarterbacking. A career for Culpepper which has included 20,000 passing yards and an impressive TD to interception ratio, 135 TDs and just 86 interceptions. His QB rating at well over 91. The Dolphins expecting big things from Dante Culpepper, who tore an ACL and an MCL against Carolina last year. And Culpepper, who is ready to start the season, will have Joey Harrington backing him up as an insurance policy as he tries to work his way into the system of the Miami Dolphins. He'll face a very tough Pittsburgh Steelers defense, one that helped lead them to their 5th Super Bowl championship last year. The Dolphins and the Steelers are coming up next on ESPN. The Miami Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers, 2 teams the most consistent in terms of success since the 1970 merger. Miami winning 347 games, losing 203, the best team since that merger. And for Pittsburgh, the running game has always been a big part of their success. And in the Super Bowl, Willie Parker, a free agent from North Carolina, was outstanding. 10 carries and 93 yards, including a record-breaking 75-yarder in the Super Bowl. He's just 5'10", 209, but Willie Parker will play a big part in Pittsburgh's offense tonight. Last year, an average of 4.8 yards a carry, 1,388 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 10 times ran for over 20 yards on a carry. A free agent wearing number 39, Willie Parker of the Pittsburg Steelers, will be a major component in their offense tonight here against Miami. And for the Dolphins, a premier running back, Ronnie Brown, 6 foot 232 in his second year out of Auburn, second overall pick, led them in rushing last year. With an offensive line that yielded only 26 sacks, Miami was able to carve out 9 victories and 7 losses. Ronnie Brown was a big part of that. He averaged over 4 yards a carry, 907 yards, and had 4 touchdown runs, 20-yard runs or more. He did it 5 times in the season for Nick Saban and the Miami Dolphins. So Ronnie Brown and Willie Parker, the 2 featured backs, and the Miami Dolphins defense, a big part of trying to slow down this Pittsburgh offense. Wes Welker and the Dolphins ready in a moment.
Thankfully.
How about Roger Goodell's first play as a football? He falls off the tee.
That's something he'll never forget, obviously.
He's all ready to get kicked, and then he falls off the tee.
Maybe there's an imbalance in the signature.
Like Lucy.
Yeah. Charles Schultz would have loved that. Crowd is up. Towels are waving. Lights, camera, and action. Here we go. The 2006 NFL season is underway. Wes Welker will take it from the 4-yard line. Welker up past the 30. Good run back man to the 33-yard line. Let's take a look at the Miami Dolphin offense.
Dante Culpepper, Central Florida Golden Knights. Ronnie Brown, Auburn.
Darian Barnes, Hampton University.
Marty Booker, Louisiana Monroe. Chris Chambers, Wisconsin Badgers.
Randy McMichael, University of Georgia.
L.J. Shelton, Eastern Michigan University.
Geno James, Auburn.
Rex Hadnot, University of Houston.
Benny Anderson, Tennessee State University.
Vernon Carey, University of Miami.
So Dante Culpepper, who tore 3 ligaments in his knee in mid-October as a Viking, his first play as a Dolphin is a handoff to Ronnie Brown, who was the overall number 2 pick in the draft last year. Shared time with Ricky Williams, who was suspended this year. And here is the Pittsburgh defense.
Aaron Smith, Northern Colorado.
Casey Hilton, Texas.
Brett Kiesel, BYU.
Clark Higgins, Colorado State.
James Ferrier, Virginia.
Larry Foote, Detroit Persian, Doughboys.
Joey Porter, Colorado State University.
Ike Taylor, Swaggin.
Ryan Clark, Louisiana.
Troy Polamalu, Southern California.
Deshae Townsend, Alabama.
And with an empty backfield, Steelers play a base 3-4, and a lot of pressure on Culpepper, but he gets it away, and the catch is made by Justin Peele, who's the number 2 tight end. Troy Polamalu knocks him out of bounds. McMichael is the number 1 tight end, and Peele sees action sparingly, but makes the first catch of the season for 16 yards.
You know, Nick Saban was saying last night he wants to do 1 or 2 things. Either spread it out like this and have no one in the backfield, have 5 receivers out and throw it quickly, or have maximum protection, 7 guys protect to throw it deep. That one was spread it out, throw it quickly.
Farrier put the pressure on. Culpepper got it away. Completes his first pass as a Dolphin, and there's no gain here as Ronnie Brown runs into number 91, Aaron Smith.
You know, when they talk about, Pittsburgh Steelers defense, one guy that they don't mention a lot that is a big part of it is that guy right there, Aaron Smith. That, they only have 3 defensive linemen, and they call him a nose tackle and 2 defensive ends, but really they play like 3 defensive tackles.
And he doesn't get a lot of acclaim because Casey Hampton is the space heater in the middle, and they have Joey Porter and Troy Polamalu, who are legitimate superstars. And so you forget about a guy like Smith.
Miami has 3 wide receivers in there now.
2nd and 10. Handoff And stopped in the backfield is Ronnie Brown. So Brown, who's going to be the workhorse this year, he saw a lot of action last year, but remember, they had Ricky Williams. Williams gone for the season, suspended because of a violation of the league's substance abuse policy. Went to Canada, got hurt there, may play with the Dolphins next year, who knows.
You know, if they don't take Casey Hampton out, if they leave him in on 2nd and long, it's tough to run a draw in there because he's their run stopper. They went dime that time, but Casey Hampton was in there.
Hampton out now, shotgun, 3rd down and 13.
6 defensive backs.
They leave McMichael in the block, and the pass to the outside is caught by Ronnie Brown, but the gain is well shy of a 1st down. Clark Higgins runs him out of bounds. So Culpepper gets 1 1st down, and then they'll kick from about midfield.
Yeah, see, and here's where he gets in the bind. If he doesn't have the protection, if he doesn't have full protection, and he has to get rid of the ball quickly like he did on that one, obviously it's not enough for a 1st down.
Line of scrimmage is the Steeler 44. We're going to get our first look at Santonio Holmes, their #1 draft choice, who's going to run back the punt if it stays in play off the foot of Donnie Jones, who comes off a fine season, led the league in net punting last year, but not a particularly good one here. They'll mark it out of bounds at the 22, and Charlie Batch and the Pittsburg Steelers will have the ball for the first time tonight when we come back to Pittsburgh.
A warm welcome to the ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass studio from Tommy and me. It's time to dip into the mailbag and see what you've been saying this week. Keep your comments and questions coming to us via ESPNSoccerNet.com and look for the Press Pass link. And let's get cracking. Our first question comes to us from Nwachukwu in Nigeria. He says, it's unfortunate that clubs like Inter fail to recognise the talents of young players such as Martins and opt instead for older ones.
A question from the home of Emimba. Yeah, it certainly is. I felt that Inter never used Martins properly. I think that he will do very well in England. I think his career will do well in England.
And incidentally, Tommy loves Enyimba. Right, Kunal in Fiji with our second question. Can Barcelona retain their Primera title?
I don't see any reason why they can't. They'll certainly start off as big favourites, and with the team they have, you have to feel that they have a good shot at it.
We want to know what you have to say about these and other topics. ESPNSoccerNet.com. Look for the Press Pass link.
ESPN Sports Center coming up following the NFL's kickoff game for 2006. Check out your local listings for the time and place in your area. Now back to Pittsburgh.
All over the city, and the world champions start from the 22-yard line with Batch giving the ball to fast Willie Parker, who picks up 3 to the 25. Here is the Pittsburgh offense.
Charlie Batch, Eastern Michigan.
Willie Parker, Clinton High School.
Dan Kreider, New Hampshire.
Hines Ward, Georgia.
Cedric Wilson, University of Tennessee.
Heath Miller, Virginia. Marvell Smith, Arizona State.
Alan Faneca, the LSU. Jeff Hardings, Penn State.
Kendall Simmons, the Auburn Tigers.
Max Starks, Florida.
And the Steeler fans are very happy that number 86, Hines Ward, introduced himself because he's had a pulled hamstring and did not play at all during preseason. Here goes Parker to the outside. He had that 75-yard run in the Super Bowl. He's tackled there by Ronaldo Hill.
You know, anytime you're going to run a play against the Miami Dolphins, you have to take care of Jason Taylor right here. And you see that he is quick enough that he can take an inside, jump the inside, get penetration, and still make the ball carrier go to the outside. Jason Taylor is the guy that made that play.
Now on 3rd down and 4, they bring Veron Haynes into the game, and he will flank Batch in the shotgun. That's Hines Ward moving.
And 4 wide receivers.
And Batch protected well and then throws, and the pass is dropped. Incomplete over the middle, intended for Nate Washington, their number 4 wideout, covered there by Jeremiah Bell. So it's 3 and out for the Steelers on their first series. Chris Gardocki never had a punt blocked. 16th season in the National Football League. 1,112 punts and 63 more in postseason play.
You know, and usually when you see the punt block and the kicks block, it's usually early in the season. You watch this kickoff weekend, how many block punts are going to be or block kicks are going to be.
He gets that one away, and a fair catch is called for by Welker, who looked like he had a little bit of room, but there's a flag down back at the Miami 40-yard line. First flag of the game. Walt Coleman of Tuck Rule fame is the referee tonight.
You know, one of the reasons for the blocks and the big plays in the special teams is in the preseason, you really don't play your special teams together. In the first game of the regular season, the first time you do it.
Number 32 of the return team. 10-yard penalty and first down.
Culpepper and company going back to work. 10:29 left in the opening quarter here in Pittsburgh. No score.
The Champions Tour presents the 2006 3M Championship. For the 6th consecutive year, the TPC Twin Cities hosted the event. Entering the final round, rookie David Edwards trailed the leader by 3 strokes, and after bogeys on the opening 2 holes, he fell 5 shots behind. But Edwards found his game and made 6 birdies in the final 11 holes to win his first title since his win on the PGA Tour in 1993, a victory drought spanning 13 years. Edwards won in only his 11th start on the Champions Tour and moved into the top 10 in the season-long Charles Schwab Cup race. His career largest paycheck also moved him into the top 10 on this year's Champions Tour money list. Congratulations, David Edwards, winner of the 2006 3M Championship.
Opening night celebration in Pittsburgh. You saw part of it as we went to the last commercial. Jerome Bettis introduced to the crowd. Of course, the bus, now part of our group, and you'll see him at halftime tonight, is here. And a rousing ovation as Jerome retires. So he's gone. Roethlisberger not in action tonight. Steelers with a few holes to fill. From the 13-yard line, Dante Culpepper in the pocket, and he's going to get sacked by Joey Porter. What else is new? He had 10.5 last season.
You know, and that's one thing that Dante Culpepper has done well is get away from a rusher, but he can't get away from Joey Porter. And the other thing you can't do is you can't block Joey Porter with a bat. Watch Joey Porter. He's going to come from the outside here. The tackle blocks down. They try and block him with a back. That is not going to happen. If you block Joey Porter all night with a bat, Joey Porter will sack your quarterback all night.
That was Darian Barnes, the fullback, who barely made contact. And he got around him to Porter for the sack. 6-yard loss, 2nd and 16. Culpepper quickly gets this one away, and this one is caught by Welker up at the 16. In mid-October last year, Dante Culpepper was hurt at Carolina. He'd gotten off to a bad start with the Vikings last year. In fact, 8 interceptions and no touchdowns in his first 2 games. There are the numbers. He missed the final 9 games. It's the kind of injury that could have kept him out a lot longer, but he had surgery in November. The rehab went very well. He didn't miss any practice time. He played in preseason, plays with a couple of sleeves on his knees, no brace, and says he feels great.
Right, and his weight is down from 265 to 255. This is as skinny as I can remember Dante Culpepper.
3rd and 7, you've got Polamalu with a flowing mane up on the line. He gets blocked out of the play initially, and then Culpepper throws low. Intended for Marty Booker. And let's go to Andrea Kramer. Andrea.
Well, you guys are obviously talking about Dante's injured knee. I can tell you how confident he was that he would be back this first game. I sat in his living room on March 15th. The day he became a Dolphin, he told me point blank, I will start on opening day. What's different about his game, though, is that he said he's going to be smart about running. He's not just going to take off. He's not going to play with reckless abandon. And as for the strength of his knee, he did Cybex testing. The right knee has about 90% of the left knee strength.
Thank you, Andrea. As Donnie Jones' kick is now fielded by Ricardo Coakley, and he'll cover up at the 29-yard line. Who would have figured a few months ago Culpepper would start tonight and Roethlisberger wouldn't, but that's the case. 8:54 to go. Opening quarter. Opening night. Dolphins nothing, Steelers nothing.
Tonight on ESPN, all the news you need to know is on a brand new edition of SportsCenter. Later, Alan Green battles Emmett Linton during Friday Night Fights. Finally, the NFL season kicks off with a matchup of the Dolphins against the defending Super Bowl champion Steelers. It's SportsCenter, Friday Night Fights, and the Dolphins Steelers only on ESPN tonight. Major League Baseball on ESPN. Saturday from Flushing, the Mets continue with the best record in the National League, and they're ready for a playoff tune-up when they host the Dodgers. Dodgers, Mets, Saturday live on ESPN.
Friday Night Fights on ESPN. One of the most exciting super middleweights right now, undefeated Alan Green, continues to climb the rankings with his poise and determination. And now he'll do battle against an experienced Emmett Linton. Tonight on ESPN.
Joe Paterno. Pittsburg Steelers start from the 29-yard line. Their second series. Charlie Batch against a three-man rush. And the pass is incomplete, intended for Hines Ward. And let's take a look at the Miami defense tonight.
Kevin Carter, University of Florida.
Keith Traylor, Central Oklahoma. Vonnie Holliday, UNC.
Jason Taylor, University of Akron.
Donnie Sprague, Stanford University.
Zach Thomas, Texas Tech.
Chandler Crowder, the University of Florida. Will Allen, Syracuse.
Ronaldo Hill, Michigan State.
Travaris Tillman, Georgia Tech.
Andre Goodman, South Carolina.
A lot of mileage, a lot of experience on that defense. Andre Goodman, though, the last guy to introduce himself, free agent cornerback from the Detroit Lions, and Willie Parker gets taken down by Keith Traylor, the defensive tackle number 94, who is in his 16th season.
You know, we always talk about that, how after a first down incomplete pass, that next 2nd and 10 is usually a running down. And that's exactly what you see here. They try and get the counter, and you just see Keith Traylor making that quick move and then flattening it out and getting around Willie Parker before he can even get back to the line of scrimmage. And then the worst part of it is then lay on top of him. There's about 3.5.
Traylor 337. It's 3rd down and 14. Batch gets nicked as he throws, and then the pass is knocked down. Coming in to break it up, Michael Lehan, the nickelback. So a lot of people thought, well, this would be a low-scoring defensive struggle, and it starts that way.
And unless both these teams start completing some passes, it's going to continue to be a low-scoring game. And I think maybe to start completing passes, and it's what Pittsburgh tried to do on this series here is throw on first down, because if they run on first down, then they get that 2nd and long, 3rd and long, then these nickel packages of both teams are very difficult.
7 minutes into the game, this is already the 4th punt of the night, second by Gardocki. Fielded at the 26-yard line by Welker. Back to the 39. That's where Culpepper will take over here with 7 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the opening period. Miami nothing, Pittsburgh nothing.
One of cricket's finest ever left-handed batsmen, Graham Pollock became a hero in his home of South Africa by playing a pivotal role in his country's finest hour in Test cricket. Batting alongside Barry Richards in the Durban Test of 1970 against Australia, Pollock hit an inspirational 274, the highest score by a South African at the time, to lead his side to victory. Like other cricketers of his generation, Pollock's Test career was cut short by South Africa's 21-year ban from international cricket. But despite a relatively short Test career, Pollock scored 7 centuries and 11 innings of 50 in 23 matches, finishing his career with a batting average second only to Donald Bradman's. Don't miss the series, The Legends of Cricket, on ESPN.
In 3 nights, Sunday Night Football debuts here on NBC, and we've got Indianapolis and the Giants. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. The ball begins at 7 Eastern time. Football night in America. Bob Costas and the gang will start you off at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Colts, Giants, Sunday night. 39-yard line. Culpepper on first down. Hands the ball to Brown. Looked like it might have been a flea flicker at first. And Brown just holds on and gets across the 40. Aaron Smith makes the tackle.
Yeah, I was watching Dante Culpepper, and I thought it was a flea flicker, too, because he was trying to get himself in position to get the ball back from Brown. You see him here. In fact, he faked, but he saw that Steeler was back there, and there was a Pittsburgh Steeler defender between Ronnie Brown and Dante Culpepper.
And Chris Chambers was running a fly pattern, and he might have been on the other end of that flea flicker.
Yeah, and
first team timeout, Pittsburgh.
Meanwhile, the Steelers will take a timeout here prior to the second down call. Halfway through the opening period on opening night.
The thrills just keep on coming with the IndyCar Series on ESPN. The season is down to the final race, and it's a four-man battle for the points championship. Castro Nieves, Hornish, Weldon, and Dixon race for the ultimate checkered flag. The 2006 IndyCar Series Championship. The thrills just keep on coming. The Chicago Indy 300, Monday on ESPN.
Remember, an absolutely perfect night for football. The Dolphins and Steelers kicking off the 2006 season. The Dolphins' first ever visit to Heinz Field. It has been a defensive struggle so far. Neither team able to move the ball at all. The punters getting the most work. Now back to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, because they had 12 men on the field, so they had to burn one here. The ball is at the 41-yard line, and it's a quick flip to the outside to Marty Booker, the ex-Chicago Bear, who gets run out of bounds by Ricardo Coakley and is about 4 yards shy of the first.
You know, that's kind of an automatic thing now that the Dolphins do, that if there's a cushion, if the corner is off the wide receiver, Dante Culpepper, instead of dropping back, he just stands up and throws the ball out there quickly. You see, here's the cushion right here. And anytime he sees that, the receiver just stands there. Dante Culpepper doesn't take a drop. He just gets it out there to him.
3rd down and 4. You see, Polamalu, at least for the moment, had lined up where the nose tackle would be, and then he backs off into coverage. And Culpepper checks down, and then the pass is incomplete. Intended for Booker, so Dante 3 and out here. And another Miami punt, which will be their 3rd.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins that time got better pass protection than Dante Culpepper expected. You know, that hasn't been the strength of this Miami team, is their pass protection, but they had it that time, and it looked like Dante Culpepper got a little excited, and he came out of there a little too quickly with it. He had a lot more time than he took.
Donnie Jones, who had the best net punting average since 1993 last year, averaging almost 40 yards net, nearly had that one blocked. That was Brett Kiesel who came in and nearly blocked it. And then it's handled at the 24-yard line with both teams touching it there. And winding up with the football is Ike Taylor. So Charlie Batch will come back for his 3rd series. Charlie, as a rookie out of Eastern Michigan, was a starter with the Detroit Lions under Bobby Ross. He supplanted Scott Mitchell. He started 46 games in 4 seasons. He was their regular. Then they drafted Joey Harrington. That made him expendable. He went to school right up the river in Homestead, PA, which actually you can see Homestead from the Steeler practice facility. So he returns home. He's in effect in his 9th season, even though he's played very sparingly since he was a Lion in 2001. He hands the ball off to Willie Parker, and Parker picks up a couple of yards.
Yeah, I was talking to Jerome Bettis this afternoon, about the running game. He said, he said we were a running team. I mean, the Steelers are a running team. He said, but we never got off to a good start. He said it was always like the 5th or 6th week of the season before we got our running game going. And I look around the league, and I think that's true of all the teams, because they don't practice anymore in pads, and they don't practice 2-a-days. do those things. They don't play a lot in the preseason. And then the regular season starts, and boom, they're not ready to go in the running game.
Neither team exhibiting anything offensively until now, with a quick pass to Heath Miller, coming off an excellent rookie season. Tackled by Travaris Tillman, and the initial first down of the night for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, and I think that's what Charlie Batch needed. You know, you kind of need that first down, that first, nice completion. You watch Heath Miller here. He doesn't do anything. He just finds a hole in the defense. He just goes up there and sits down, and boom, Charlie Batch comes and hits him right between the 8 and the 3.
5.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Ward again coming off the hamstring. And this is Parker. Parker up to the 42-yard line. Second down.
You know, one of the things with this Dolphin defense that is tough is you don't know if they're in a 4-3. If they're in a 4-3, then Jason Taylor is a defensive end, or if they're in 3-4 and Jason Taylor is a linebacker. Talking to Ken Wisenhunt, the offensive coordinator of the Steelers, he said that's a tough thing. You always have to have rules for 3-4 and rules for 4-3. See, now you see Jason Taylor is off, so you would play this with a double bubble as a 3-4, if that makes sense.
Second down and 7. Parker, all right, tell me what the double bubble is.
I'm going to show you what the double bubble is. A bubble is when a lineman isn't covered by a defensive lineman, but a linebacker. So here's a bubble right here. The linebacker's off here. Here's a bubble right here. So this is one bubble, and this is the other bubble. So that's the double bubble. And when they see that double bubble, they say that's a 3-4, and we use our 3-4 rules.
So in a conventional set, it's a single bubble.
Right. If you reduce or you bring your defensive lineman down like this one over the guard, then there's only a single bubble. There's only a bubble on this side, or sometimes there's no bubble.
I think I got it. And the catch is made here by Santonio Holmes, their #1 draft choice out of Ohio State. They traded up from the 32nd spot to the 25th spot to get him, and that's his initial NFL catch.
And the Steelers are in 4 wide receivers. They bring Santonio Holmes in. He's the inside receiver. You're going to see him right here. He just starts to run across. In fact, it was a double cross. Santonio Holmes was the first guy coming across. Then they had another cross right behind him.
Double cross against the double bubble.
Double bubbles have played before. Here's another double bubble right here.
1st and 10. The ball is at the 48-yard line. Good play fake. Batch buys time. Motioning downfield, but the secondary does its work. The revamped Miami secondary before Kevin Carter forces him out of bounds. One of the things Miami wanted to do, is Batcher's able to get a swig on the bench, is revamp that secondary. So they went to free agency and trades and the draft to try to get it all together, because their front seven's very good.
You know, earlier I was talking about that Nick Saban really doesn't have all the parts yet. I mean, he got Dante Culpepper, which was a big step, but I think some of the parts are offensive line is one. He needs a few guys there, and secondary.
One guy they're missing in the secondary tonight is the would-be starting cornerback, Travis Daniels, who's inactive, and thus Goodman gets the start against Lions. Second down and 10. They're going to toss it to Parker going the outside. And coming up from that secondary is Will Allen, the former Giant. So Allen had worn out his welcome in New York. Miami says thank you very much. We'll take him. Nice play there.
You know, when you're playing your corners up tight, whether it's a cover 2 man or a cover 2, or you're blitzing that guy, he has to be a force guy. That time, Will Allen was coming on a blitz, and they were running right at him. And when you run right at him, he has to make that play. I mean, you know, you just can't be a cover guy in a corner anymore. You have to be a blitzer, and you have to be a force and support guy.
Backs looking at the wristband for the call. 3rd down and 13 here. 2 minutes to go in the period. Out of the shotgun. Stepping up, buying time. He's going to run, and he's going to come up about a yard shy of the first down. Reaching out, but stopped at the 39-yard line. Popped by Zach Thomas, and of course the crowd now sensing a 4th and 1 upcoming, and they want Cowher to go for it. What else is new?
And they had 4 wide receivers on this one, and you're going to see Jason Taylor's coming straight up the middle. Jason Taylor was the guy that forced Charlie Batch out of there. And a lot of times when you spread them out with 4 wide receivers, there will be room for the quarterback to run. and Bill Cowher is going for it.
Jerome Bettis is getting into uniform. This, of course, is where Jerome excelled through the years. There it is, 78% conversion rate, and 96 through 05. The years in play here coincide with Jerome Bettis's tenure as a Pittsburgh Steeler. But about 4 times of every 5 on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 they would convert, and most of those were due to the bus.
Yeah, and now, you know, in talking to Bill Cowher, he doesn't know who that guy is going to be. I mean, it could be Willie Parker, it could be Ron Hayes, it could. I think they thought it was going to be Deuce Staley, but I don't know that they think that anymore. And with this game, I don't know that I would go for it here on 4th down. I mean, they have a good kicking game, and they have good defense, and I don't know that they have to give the Dolphins, if they don't get the 1st down, I don't know that they should be giving them this good field position.
I agree with you. I mean, it figures to be a low-scoring game. This is important field position early on.
And what they did is they put their 3rd tackle in there, Trey Essex, as a tackle who goes in for the Steelers as a tight end, which is their short yardage or goal line offense.
Last year, when they ran it without the bus, Parker was 3 out of 4. Haynes was 2 for 2. 4th and 1 from the 39. Or they could just try to draw Miami offside. If they don't, they're going to run it. They're going to flip it to Parker. Going the other way. And before they can run him down, he picks up the 1st down. So some misdirection to the left side after making it a strong side, right side formation. And Andre Goodman makes the tackle. And Cowher's first gamble of the season pays off.
Right, and that's that old college option where you fake one way and toss it out. So you get the fullback going here, and you bring Willie Parker on a counter back to the outside. And because of his speed, you know, if you get that guy in there tight, he can outrun that outside guy. Here's Jason Taylor is chasing him. Willie Parker can get to the 1st down marker before Jason Taylor can get him.
1st and 10, final minute of the quarter. Now it's Parker. He's going to be the workhorse again this season. Jason Taylor makes the tackle. Parker has already carried the ball a total of 9 times in the period for 15 yards. And Willie, of course, is in the record books now. Marcus Allen had that 74-yard run in the early 80s in the Super Bowl. And then Willie last year, huge play in the game, 75 yards against Seattle and Detroit. And that will be the final play of the opening period.